this flag on this side, we put it over here, it don't represent what you think it does, and that you always worship in it. Oh, glory. I want to know, brother, where in the world have you found old glory for yourself? You have not found no glory there in that flag for yourself. Yes, sir. Are he teaching us against the flag of the country? Then he must be a communist. He must be. No, brother. This is not the communist flag that's over to the right. That's the flag I'm trying to teach you. That is your own flag, and no other people is to offer to you. You go and look over the flags that the nation have in your encyclopedias and also in the regular common books. They teach you over here, that one to the right. All the nations of your kind and my kind have a little piece of that in their flag. That one to the right. Some of them have just a star of it. Some of them have a moon. But he's in that flag, not over here. Those that have their faith, their flags, made after the design of American flag, Americas or Europe have something to do with it. What I mean that Europe and America rules that people.
Local officials joined grassroots organizations in the Parkchester community, including Creating in the Community and Women of Proverbs 8 Council, to raise two flags, including the Juneteenth flag, commemorating National Juneteenth Day, first celebrated on June 19, 1865, in Texas, where about 250,000 slaves lived, many of whom were moved by their slave owners from other southern states, after President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1, 1863, abolishing slavery.
For us to be here in the middle of the Bronx celebrating that and raising the Pan-African flag is truly amazing, truly amazing.
The flag has never been raised here in the Bronx, so why not be the first ones to do it?
A Jubilee celebration erupted following the news given by Union General Gordon Granger, who marched with troops to make the announcement in Galveston, Texas, this 2.5 years after Lincoln's executive order to end slavery. Right in the middle of a harvest season, the celebration was met with some resistance, but with the formation of the official Juneteenth Committee, seen in this photo taken around the year 1900, and their purchase of parkland, which at the time was about $800, the celebration continues to this day, with 46 states now honoring Juneteenth Day. And working to make this a national holiday is Deborah Ogwama, who, alongside the founder and chairman of the National Juneteenth Observance Foundation, the late Reverend Dr. Ronald Meyer Sr., also rallied to see the flag raised at the Statue of Liberty and on Wall Street. She says bringing it to the Bronx is also a part of the goal to understand further this rich piece of American history and have the public hear more on the mission of the foundation.
They also trying to get the curriculum included in the public school system across this country so that people are educated what Juneteenth is and what Juneteenth means to every American.
The first slave, according to the congressional record in Washington, D.C., landed in Jamestown, Virginia in 1555, not 1619.
Speakers helping to set the record straight included Minister Abdul Hafaz, Minister of Mosque No. 7 in Harlem, veteran and district leader John Perez, New York City Council member Ruben Diaz Sr., and activist Nana Zakia.
It is a subject that needs to be talked about because these people gave other people dignity, gave other people credit for building this, gave other people privileges.
Juneteenth was a celebration just in Texas. Now it's around the country, even around the world. For BronxNet, this is Arlene Makoko.
Don't let the man trick you. See, we started red, black, and green, way back in Marcus Garvey's time. Right? They didn't tell you that that same red, black, and green that Marcus Garvey used there, he got from a Sudanese called Dus Muhammadu Ali. They don't tell you that. It's history. It's in the books. And he was a Sudanese who he met in Egypt. You know about that. Now, if he's a Sudanese, and back then, the flag of the Sudan was the Mahdi flag. This flag right here. This flag right here was the flag of the Mahdi. You see that? Do you think that this is a coincidence? That this flag happens to have the same colors that Marcus Garvey happened to get from a man he happened to meet from the Sudan who happened to be in Egypt at the time? Does it seem like it? No. But see, the devil gets in again. He moved the black and put it where the red is. The Mahdi, that man over there, alayhi salam, he purposely put the black on top. Because the black represented us. The red represents blood. You understand? Red, black, and green means you plan to bleed again. The Mahdi said, no, I'm coming in the name of Allah. And we will not bleed again. And the British came out against him, the Turks came out against him, the Egyptian, a little band of men, a small group of desert people, no weapons but faith that has the power to move mountains is all they had. And they stood behind the Mahdi, alayhi salam. And they rolled that flag. And they conquered. You follow? Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because with Bantu, right? You mix Bantu and Arabic, and you get the language Kiswahili or Swahili, a slave trader's language, a language devised or created so that the Africans of Bantu Muslims could trade the slave that they took from Morocco all the way across and sold. You hear me? In the 1600s, Prince Henry, not in the 1400s, John Hawkins. This is a later slave trade where they went and kidnapped people who they knew were of noble blood. How do you eat deep on it? You understand? They knew they were of noble blood, and that's why they put Abraham Lincoln on a copper penny. Because they knew that was copper and that was Jesus. But before Abraham Lincoln could do that, he had to reestablish himself as a synagogue Jew. And that's why when you see Abraham Lincoln, he had a top hat on, a black coat, a black shirt, and a little girl wrote and said, you better put your bed on. And his name was Abraham, because Abraham freed the Amorites out the mountain. That's right. You understand? And that Abraham Lincoln is a symbol. They used to give a nigga years ago, $5 for their blood and blood banks. Because Abraham Lincoln is on a $5 bill. Abraham Lincoln sits in Washington, D.C. as if he's Ramesses the Great. That's right. They have him sitting up there on a throne like Ramesses the Great because he represents y'all's pharaoh, because he freed you, and his name is Abraham. And Abraham's name was changed from Abraham to Abraham because it means the father of many nations. And he gave you the Emancipation Proclamation